what is happening today when people say to extend only the mother's leave, maternity leave, is acting as we did in the 30s. And that is anachronistic. You know, you are acting as if you lived in history and not as it is, in fact. So in the 1930s, maternity leave was introduced. So we have a very, very long history on that one. And that was, it was an economic crisis, but it was also a demographic crisis in the 30s in Sweden. And I think big parts of Europe has a demographic crisis today, don't you? So perhaps we'd look at some demography. We can turn to the first. They are not in order, but...
You don't want to go to this one?
No, not yet. We do the first one, yeah. That is Sweden, looking at it as demography. And this is for 100 years ago, more than that. You see that Sweden was a poor country. A lot of children are born to die immediately. That is what poverty is about. This is the crisis in the population in the 30s. You can see that the population was reduced. You can see that? So they said, we have to do something about the demographic crisis. And the maternity leave was introduced as one way of dealing with the crisis in the 30s. But we also got the right for contraceptives in the 30s. The first abortion law was introduced in Sweden in the 30s. The pension, real pension, for the folk pension, the same pension for all adults was also introduced. So, and other things also happened. Employers were forbidden to sack women if they were, when they got married or got pregnant or so. So a lot of things happened in the 30s. And if you look at the things that were done, you might think that is a paradox. Because the solution of the crisis in the 30s, that was to increase the rights for women to choose their own life. It was, but a lot of suggestions were put forward to force women to go home, not to be able to work. So I would say that an important idea that we can bring with us from the 30s is that you can be active and you can challenge. And if you give the right for women, then women will act, logically, interest. And the fear of, if the population looks like this, then the fear is, of course, that women, if women are to work, then they will not give birth to children. But in fact, we learned already in the 30s that it is the other way around. If women have to choose between working and having children, then women will choose work. And that is the demographic crisis we have today. This is how Sweden looks today. And this is how the statistics of Sweden think we will look. And I just want to show you that we don't have the same demographic crisis in Sweden. We don't. Swedish women, just for the time being, give birth to approximately 2.0 children. It should be 2.2. That's the idea. How is it in Spain?
1.4 now.
1.4, yeah. So I think that can be used, to put pressure on the state and on the European Union. Say, well, do you want children or not? Because if you want children, then give us the right to be able to have both. Don't force us to choose. Because if we are forced to choose, we will work. Yes, mucho trabajo, and not so much children. So, yes, I think that is the case, yeah.
You want to open questions?
Yeah, I think I'll just round up, because that is what we are standing now in a situation where women are highly educated, the countries are more prosperous than before, and I think it's the best time that has ever been to put forward new ideas on how societies would be built. And therefore you should be radical and you should be courageous and say, oh, hey, we've never been there, but this is what we would like. A society where both women and men are workers and carers, where we have the same opportunity to have a paid work so that we can choose. If you want to live with someone else and share the economy, then do it. But you should also be able to make your own living. But I also think that it's very sad if women think, I will not have children because I cannot. I have studied for, say, 6 years and I cannot work and have children. That is sad, and I think it's not good enough. I think I don't want to force anyone to have children, but if you want them, you should have them. And it is the society that should provide the infrastructures to make that happen. And I have 3 on myself. And so therefore I think, do you want 3 children? Yeah? It's lovely. Yeah, it's lovely to have 3 children. And it's lovely because it gives you such strength to work for a better society than we have now. Thank you. And now, questions.
Bueno, pues si queréis hacer alguna pregunta no tenéis más que levantar la mano y os acercaremos el micrófono. Creo que la charla de Gerrtrud Aström ha sido muy interesante y seguro que ha generado muchas reflexiones en todos vosotros, en todas vosotras. Así que ánimo y es vuestra oportunidad de preguntar.
Priya.
En español mejor, vale. Hello. Yo quería preguntarle cómo ha sido en...
Un momentito. It's okay. You can hear the translation.
No.
I remember.
All right. I can ask you in English if you want.
Okay, fine. So then you will have the translation into Spanish then. Okay.